Bezras Hashem Yisbarach. Yom Rishon Parshas Chayei Sorah. Tavshin Ayin Ches Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Today's shir is sponsored Le'ilui Nishmas Rebbe Lozer Menachem Mon Ben Yisroel Zatzal. It's a Chiddush. A Kaponim, there is your side. In today's Parsha, we encounter Chayei Sorah, the Kiryas Arba, Hi Chevron, Be'eretz Canaan, Vayavoy Avraham, Lispoid L'Sorah. And Avraham comes and says a hesped for Sorah. This is the first time in the Torah you encounter a hesped. And do any of you, is your curiosity piqued at all by this pasuk? Eliyahu? Chris not piqued, huh? Your curiosity is not piqued at all? Mine is. How about you? Shalom Yudah. Also, you don't mean one of those old questions. You know, the curiosity not piqued over here. Gabriel? What was the hesped? What's in your head? What did he say about it? Hesped is an account of somebody's life. Aren't you curious to know, Daniel, what was the first hesped that Torah mentions on Sarah Imenu? What did he say? Now Shimon's curiosity is piqued. What?
You say that it's supposed to be an instruction.
Well, don't you think that maybe if you knew what made the Sorah great, that maybe it's something people could learn from? If we knew what made the others great, not only is that a wonderful thing, you know the Ramachal says in a Sefer Derech Eitz Chaim that the most powerful medicine that a person could take to be mechazik himself is to know what did the others do that made Hashem like them. What did they do special? There's nothing bigger than this. So if you take a look in the Medrash Tanchuma, it actually gives us a recording of the hesped. Baruch Hashem, the Medrash Tanchuma. Hizchel Avram Livkos started to cry, v'loimar, and he said, Eishes Chayil mi yimtza. Yeah. Botach bo leiv mala. Now it says her husband was botach bo. He was confident in her. He trusted her. He relied on her. Amosai went. When Dorsha Tsemer Upishta, when Sarah Imenu was Deirish Semer and Pishtim. Who was the Semer and Pishtim? You know what Semer and Pishtim is? Shatnez. Wool and linen. That's Semer and Pishtim. Shatnez. Dorsha Semer and Pishtim. Who was that? Zog Medrash. Ben Yitzchak the Yishmael. Between Yitzchak and Yishmael. Sha'amra. How do you see she was boidik the Shatnez? Where do you see she separated the Shatnez? But Avraham Avinu gesagt, Adei Heilige Mama Sorah said to me, Goresh ha'ama hazois the espina. Drive out this maidservant and her son. Yeah, Daviniflu. Know what it says in this medrash? That Darsha means she sought, she looked into, she heard about Shatnez, she heard about the concept of Ram Avinu Nukol Terikula, and she heard about the mixing of the wool and the linen, and she knows that the halacha says that if a person finds klayim in his beket, even b'shuk, yeah, know what he does? He has to take it off. My time, why? Ein chochma, ve'ein tfuna, ve'ein eitza, l'neged Hashem. The Gemara says, Kol mokoim sheyesh chilul Hashem, ein cholkin kavod l'rav. You're not chayla kavod l'rav. Know what that means to say? That here, a great Adam Gadol comes to New York City, and all the newspapers are there taking pictures, they're photographing. Headlines in the New York Times say, Grand Rabbi of all the Orthodox Jews in the world, arriving in New York amidst big fanfare, and the family arranged for the Adam Gadol, Chaim Kanevsky, they should give him a new parhoisen for the occasion. Why have no prayer pants for the occasion? No. Chaim, they give him prayer pants. Chaim puts it on. Fought in America. Gets off the plane. All the Yidden from all Seiten, all the TV stations, all the newspapers, and everybody's trying to get a word in. Can't verstehen, they don't speak English. You speak Yiddish, they speak Yiddish. They don't speak anything else but Hebrew, Yiddish. Maybe an Israeli reporter comes forward, Vakesh Mashu. The kids here, all of a sudden, the phone on Reb Chaim's, Gabai's cell phone rings. He picks it up and he hears something. Ma, no shemeh. Atam daber, Shatnez, ma Shatnez. Amit Nasayim Shatnez. Also he turns to the shoe and said, Reb Chaim, הם אומרים, המכנסיים שטנס. תתן לי מכנסיים של שטנס. ווש, מתוך הישטר. נדבר מגיע לזין. המויצי קליים בביקטוי, שתיים נגמור. If a guy finds climb a big day, I feel a besuk, poishtan. And Reb Chaim starts to take his pants down. Of course he has a kapot on. He has said so, Shkefelder. Meanwhile the picture taker, what's going on? The rabbi's getting undressed in the public domain. Macht a ganze Tummel. You can imagine, little tzonis. Was geht schon sein dort noch hier? Kol mokim sheyesh chilul Hashem, ein cholkin kavod l'rav. And you know who chapped that matzav? You know who was plummeted the depth of that halacha? Sorry, mate. That was the first shtickle that Avraham Avinu said about her. That she heard from me the shtickle to her. She heard Stazach and Shatnez. And she heard, and she made a Kavachayim. You know what she said? If clothing, Tzemer Pishtim, is a problem, and such a problem, you have to be poished on B'shuk. So, even if my husband, Avram Avinu, the Adam HaGadol Shebanokim, the Eisel HaMizrachi, even if he says, "Nay, we can't the Oizwaffen, Yishmol von Stub. You can't throw Yishmol out of Stub." She said, "Nay, Aval Pike, ein Cholkin, cover l'Rav, ein Eitzer, ein Tfuna, l'Neged Hashem. Yishmol mit Yitzchak, that is shatnez." You hear that? Mixing of Yishmael with Yitzchak is shatnez, and just like shatnez, even one chut, one shtick is puzzle. Therefore, she said, "I'm going to town for this. I'm going to battle for this. I want him out." And Avram Avinu didn't know what to do. You know, when Sarah explained him, I learned it from the din of shatnez. So Avram Avinu said, "No, I don't know if it's muchach. Ich weiß nicht, das steht da klar, mefurisch Rambam, das ist ein Taschlik Ladrush, achsidische Sache, täuscht." So what did he do? And the Baruch told him, "Shma b'kaimla, sie sagt doch gut. Sie sagt gut." No. You chayiv to drive out the son of the maid. Even if it's Avram Avinu. That was the godless of Sarah, and that was the first step of the husband. From everything Sarah did in her life. She was tzaddikas, kulam shav l'tayva, abaskuf, kibaschaf. She had chatayim like a baby. She was noki mechatayim. She was unbelievable, Madrig. The first thing he picked out, that she was shomer, our family, against my will. She stood up for what was right, against my will, and I trust her. Even if initially I didn't, but she was right. And I might it. She saved. Zid Geratevit. She was Matzel. She was the savior of our Yitzchak. Now there's a powerful lesson you have to learn from this. And what is that? That this lesson is not limited to Yitzchak and Shmuel. You have to know any tarufis of Yishmael with Yitzchak is the greatest sakana that Shaykh developed. You have to know throughout history we're going to have the same challenge. Your children are going to be exposed. The bad kids, the foreign ideas. You have to know ein eitzer ve'ein tvuna. There's no eitzer and there's no tvuna. If it's a matter of contaminating the children, the psak milsa is garish says. If the child is not going to be mashpil or raw another child, okay, different story. But if the child could be mashpia, this is not only the hesped of Sarah, this is Sarah's legacy. This is the tzavah that Sarah left us with. I want my kinderlach ad oilam to be noig with this minik. I want my children to grow up without shatnez. Now you have to understand, where is the big sakana when you're exposed to bad people? Where in lies the sakana? So Pashtus you say, that the sakana is, if you do bad things, I'll learn from you. But you have to know that that's the minor sakana. That's not the major sakana. The major sakana is, it says in the pasuk, Mikol mishmar nitzor libech, ki mimenu toitzoas chayim. The lave in Lashon Kodesh means a person's mind, his koyach hamachshava, his hergeshim. The Torah tells us the thing you have to watch more than anything else that you own, the biggest sakana of all sakanas, mikol mishmar, watch your das, watch your mind. Because if you get one mistake in your das, you're finished, la'olam void. You learn from a bad person, you're doing aveira. Okay, it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing. But your life's not over. No one's life is over for an aveira. But if your das gets twisted, you have to know your shirish of every single ma'isa that you do is going to be messed up. You have to understand, if your mind becomes a little bit less covey, a little less serious, when it should be serious, and you take something and you say, it's not so bad. I was once at a bris, and the sandik was a emisach. A lot of Rishonim were there. And the sandik started to make inappropriate jokes, shastras. And some of his chevra thought they were funny. And decided, even though he was the grandfather of the child, and I was just a guest there, but I had to say something. And I said, excuse me, I want you to know your jokes are uncalled for, they're inappropriate at any time, but certainly not at this holy moment when your son is entering, your grandson is entering the covenant of Abraham. He's becoming a Jew. And everybody kept silent. I thought it was a joke again. Events. What was I concerned about? You know what I was concerned about? Because I knew that jokes that he made must be on everybody, and they would look down in a more oifen kal at a bris and a lower the whole chaymer inyan, and maybe the next guy would say to his son, what are you making a bris for? That's a joke. It's a bit. Anyway, say time for. One of the first lessons my Rebbe told me when I came to him is this lesson. He told me, Yisroel, I want you to know, he said, the most valuable thing that you have is your mayach. There's nothing, kol chafotzecha lo yishvu boita. My nafkamina. He said, when you transport rocks from place to place, how do you transport rocks? A dump truck. You load up the back of a dump truck. And what happens to a dump truck? It bumps along the road. And the rocks get more scratched up every block they go. Chips fall off the rocks. However, he said, who cares? They're rocks, they're grobesteiner. And grobesteiner, they don't have such a chashivas. But you'll never see somebody transporting gems and precious diamonds in a dump truck. He won't even transport it in his pocket. They have a special pouch. And in this pouch, there's pockets. They wrap the pouch up, kama mini wraps, and the diamonds are all carefully placed and then they wrapped that pouch in another suitcase, in another pouch. Was Marash, wasn't a steiner. Oh, but the chiluk is, these stones are extremely valuable and extremely precious. And the smallest scratch on those stones devalues the Zach. There they can sein, von a gora teure diamond, sie can werden a schmecktabak. Can be worth nothing. Darf man sehr vorsichtig sein. Be very careful, he said. Dein Kopf, he said, dein moyach is more important than what you call. The world treats their minds like racks. And they expose their minds to all kind of shtus. Tremendous shtus. Tremendous witz. That's makel. That's mavchis. Diminishes. Puts down the chashivas of Torah. The chashivas of davening. The chashivas of the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's all you hear. You ever see a guy? One guy in the yeshiva said, "What are you going to talk about? Teira. Yeah. What's wrong with that? What are you trying? I told the guy was over there. I said, what are you trying to bring out with that? Teira. Is that important to you? What does it mean? What are you trying to say? It was make a call by him. It's a garnish. A person has to understand. Whatever he was telling me, he said, Asher Al came. Be very careful, number one, who you talk to in learning. Till your mind is developed. There is a great sakana, you'll hear something from somebody else that doesn't know how to think. But it may be closer to your way of understanding. You'll mekabel his das. You're not going to chap and mimavchim. What's a good svara? Not a good svara. And you know what's going to happen? You end up getting twisted. For the rest of your life, you're twisted. He said, you're looking svarim, and you don't know how to be weigh, and what's good and what's not good. And whatever it says in the Sefer, people believe. So you see in one Sefer Azai, another Sefer Azai, and you know what ends up happening? You end up being krum like anything. He said, maybe too late already. Because you grew up in America. In America, everybody is curious Georges, and everybody wants to know about everything. And any material that's available, people want to read, people want to know about, people want to study, people want to be exposed to that. You have to know. You're messing up your life forever and forever and forever. And Mazaydi used to say from his Rebbe, you get one twisted thought, that thought is going to be b'parhesia and b'golui in the next world. And you won't get rid of it. You can't hide your thoughts in the next world. You have one wrong thought about Hashem. One misunderstanding, shall we say. Because you once read a book who pictured Hashem with a real big beard, and real big eyes, and real big ears, and a real super big head, sitting in a super throne, and that made a roishim on you. You know what happened just now? You just became a kaifer in the Rebbeinu Shalom l'neitzach netzach. That's such a forbidden thought. And the writer said, I didn't mean bad, I meant good. I wanted to bring home Hashem to the Kindle. I wanted Hashem. So, you're still wrong. You're still a destroyer of Yiddish and Shabbos. Because if you're shtus. Or what if somebody comes and says, there's nothing wrong with going to college and learning Torah. So the Zelbazach. Elu ve'elu divrezim kibchay. Studies, it's important. Chochma b'koyim tamen. There is such a thing as Chochma. There's nothing wrong with studying Chochma. The guy's mind is so twisted. The guy puts Torah in the same thing with Chochma. and if I steak, the guy said, well, maybe Torah is a little more important. You don't act like that. You don't treat it as such. Terrible thing. Give you just a little example. There are many schools in out of town because they couldn't find English teachers to come in the afternoon. You know what they would do? They would have Limudi Kodesh in the morning. And they would have Limudi Kodesh in the afternoon. And they would have Limudi Chayil in the morning. So a person might think, what's SHLITA? Okay, if that's how it works out, it's practical, it's pragmatic. You do it. Moshe, everybody else, fire on it. Fire, it's awesome. You know why? Because you give a guy an impression that Torah is Shava b'Shava. You started it with the English studies. Can't give a kid such a thought. English studies has to be a tuffle. Can't be an ikr, it's not Shava b'Shava. Person has to understand. There's a pasuk in Mishlei. They always used to say this over. Fiery pasuk. It says, Mishlei Yud Zayin, Pegoish Doiv Shakul Beish. The Al Ksil Beivalta. It's better for a person to meet a bear who just had his cubs removed from him. And when you remove a bear's cubs, they become real bears. They're very, very agitated. Better to meet that bear, the al ksil bi'ival toy, rather than meet a ksil, a fool, who is espousing his foolishness. What they used to say, be matayr in his motion. You have a shul, and everybody comes running into shul. What's going on? There's a bear running wild. They just captured his cubs, and that bear is furious. And he's roaring outside the front of the shul like nobody's business. So some balabas gets up and says, oh, I have an idea. Let's go out the back door. So you look at the back door. Who's standing in the back door? Yosel the Ksil. Yosel the fool. He's a guy, every time he opens up his mouth, he's mezalzel in Torah. He jokes about Judaism, jokes about Noach, jokes about the Teva, jokes about Avram. He's from the Utsani Adar, from the days of Avram. The rabbi says, no, don't go out that way. Go out the front door. Are you crazy, Rabbi? Are you crazy? He said, as that says in the pasuk. Better to go out and meet a bear who had its cubs. If you have to go out, better to go out the door and meet the bear who had its cubs. You know why? The most he can do to you is take away your guf. He's a sakonis haguf. He's not a sakonis to your nefesh. And a ksil is a sakonis to your nefesh. But everyone showed me a letter. I've seen it other times afterwards again myself, that a Bacher writes, Rebbe Chanan Wasserman, that he has a way to maybe get papers to go to America and save himself from the impending danger in Europe. The other side is he should stay in Europe. What should he do? You'll ask any chacham today, what's the question? Of course you go to America. Rabbi Chanan said, stay in Europe. Know why he said? In Europe, it's sakonis haguf. In America, it's sakonis bin hasham. Sakonis haguf always takes precedence over sakonis hasham. It's halacha l'maisa. That's some very serious. You don't realize that when you expose yourself to a person or to a daya, that's why people want to read books. They're curious, they want to see what a SHLITA has to say. they become a little impressed. You read Goyish stuff. My grandfather used to say, the worst place in the world is the public library. Isaiah said if he would be able to, he would have destroyed all the libraries. He held libraries were the worst places. They were the destroyer of all the Jewish souls. It was full of writings of people that were against Yahadus, people who were against the Torah. That's what you're reading. In everything, they romanticize Gili Arayis, Shvichas Domim, and Avigdor. It's all cute, it's all sweet. It all has a certain feinkeit to it. That's what a person has to understand. The halacha is that if you have the Aveda of your father and you have the Aveda of your Rebbe, you see two lost objects, and you can only return one of them. Whose do you return? Know what it says? You return your Rebbe's Aveda first, because your father only brought you to this physical world. Your father's big gift to you is the guf, and the Rebbe gave you das, and das is forever and forever and forever. It's amazing if you look in Tehillim, the first parak of Tehillim, from all the Asharis that David HaMelech gives us in Tehillim, the very, very first parak, you know what he says? Don't sit in a Moshe of Leitzer. Don't go together with your Rishayim. Because you know you go with them, you're finished. That's what you have to know. And the Iker problem is the Tarufis. Not the fact that you're Rishayim in the world. The Tarufis. Yishmael can live. Go in the Midbar, live in the Midbar. We are per Adam. But not with Yitzchak. The Iker is, it says in the Pasuk, V'im shoymim al tis'ariv. The Lashon of the Pasuk is tis'ariv. No, tis'ariv means tarufis. No mix. Im shoymim. The Gemara says, what's shoymim? The Gemara says, if you have somebody who's a Baal Mishnah and someone's only a Baal Mikra, that's called a shoymim. Don't mix with people who are on a lower level for you. Because people on a lower level for you will only bring you down. You have to make sure you bring them up and not, but if you mix, you know what mix means? I'm going to tell you this. Mazeda was walking down the street once and he saw a rabbi and one of his congregants with their hands over each other's shoulder. So Mazeda said to the congregant, what's your hand doing on the rabbi's shoulder? He said, what do you mean? We're pals. Are we? So my grandfather told him later, find it a rabbi. If he's your pal, it's not good. Find it a rabbi. A rabbi you don't pal around with. You don't make it tarufis. Them showing him out, and for the rabbi it surely wasn't good. Person has to know, you don't mix. You know what? If you're already a Baal Gemara, and you have somebody who's only a Chumash man, he loves Chumash. He's always learning Rashi, always has questions in Dvar Torahs, always walking around with his papers from the internet on the Chumash, and he's really into it. But he's a lower level. He's not idealistic. He's not a growing person. You read home by Mishnah. You hold my Gemara. Go right there. Look up. Look for people who shotness is the problem. The mixture. That's where the problem is. And if a person understands that, and a person takes steps to keep the shmirah, then you'll have some shmirah. You don't realize how one wrong thought could change. I'm sitting by an event, and a guy walks, sits down next to me. He has a beard. Maybe he belongs to a certain Hasidic group. And he tells me, I knew your grandfather. I said, very nice. I said, can you tell me something over from him? He couldn't think of anything. Tells me, his books, he writes about evolution. I'm a scientist. Today, he says, everything he says in the book is is refuted. Today, you should know, there's clear proofs beyond the shadow of a doubt of evolution. Turn around to her and say, excuse me, are you all right? He said, I'm just telling you Matthias. I know Hashem, I understand that. I'm just telling you Matthias what's out there in the world. Get away from me, my friend. You're a kaifer. You talk, I don't know what you're talking about. My grandfather's words are chai v'kaim lo'ilam void. Evolution is shtus. It always was shtus. It will be shtus. And I can't imagine how you allowed yourself to be befuddled. So you should study this. You should take a look at the proofs. I said, if somebody would come to you and say, I have a proof that your mother was actually a Tasmanian bamboo, and your Geseda was a gorilla from the highlands in North and South Africa. You want to see the proofs? You tell them, get away from me right now. We have studies. You have DNA. You want to look at the studies? You tell them, get away from me. You're a Maturith. You're a Meshuggah. I don't have to hear. What do you want? Out of your mind. But the guy thought, that's really the guy's Makulkal. His science was Makalkal. He actually believes that there's proofs to evolution. It's a great shachmanas. People have this nonsense. But that guy is finished for life because he exposed himself, contaminated his mind, and he thinks he's a fine Jew. He damas 3 times a day, but I claim Mishnah. He doesn't believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is buried in Olam, Yeshmai. Of course, after Mutzach, he's going to be Miyashiv. I can't tell you how many people I heard that from scientists. Told me, you really have to be Miyashiv, the Bria Silo. It's really a lot of kush, there's a lot of kushis on this art. Why do you talk like that? A lot of kush, but people talk like that. We don't talk like that. You know why? We think with Maminim. No, we just don't look at it. We don't know what the material says out there. We're not interested in the material. So Hashem is buried at Mishmai. When a guy takes a look at material, goes to college, he gets a degree in the stuff in biology and the sciences. What do you think? Read every second page. The world's millions of years old. 50 million, 100 million. This is what happened. 200 million years ago, 500 million years ago. You think you don't believe it? Of course you believe. If you believe that, you're shaking your foundations of Amunah. Goresh Esa'om Hazois. That's the legacy of Sorah Imeinu. Let us fulfill that legacy. And let us remember what her husband said about her, the opening shot at the Esther.